Okay, so this is your formal analysis comparative study. You are going to be opening up this on your Google Classroom. This is your document. You must use this document. Please note those turn-in days. If those days don't correlate with what was in the classroom, please make sure that you understand this might be a recording that I'd made in a previous year. So always check the bulletin board, always check the assignment on Google Classroom. You can delete this slide after you have opened it up on your own screen. Additionally, this must be submitted at the end of the assignment to turnitin.com. Here's all of your success criteria. I've set out a font size. You need to make sure you're using complete sentences and paragraphs. You are going to pull the information from your Elements and Principles graphic organizer. If you have done well on that assignment, you can just copy and paste the information into these slides. You do not have to recreate the wheel. That is why we spent so much time working on that graphic organizer. You are going to evaluate each piece by itself, and then you are going to compare and contrast those pieces against one another. Please remember that all work and analysis must be your own. You are not allowed to utilize AI or anyone else's work in this analysis. You are also going to be responsible for finding 4 sources. You will need 2 for each piece of artwork, and you will need to make sure that they are in MLA format. Do not crop or change the pictures in this presentation. So on this slide, what you are going to do is you're going to go to your graphic organizer. You are going to find 5 elements or principles. I don't care which ones you choose. It does not matter. You're going to pick 5 elements and principles. You are then going to copy that information onto this slide. Then you're going to go through and you are going to highlight or bold the elements and principles. So you can see in the example, the painting Madame Matisse by Henri Matisse has obvious implied texture. The word texture is bolded. You will need to do that for this analysis. So whatever you've written for Flaming June, if you decide you're going to use your analysis about color, make sure that you are copying that information and then bolding every time you see the word color in those sentences. Again, you have to have 5 elements and principles on this slide. You're going to notice in the lower right corner, it's going to have the title of the piece and the artist name. I'm asking you to find additional information where it says fill in the date that this was created, the size of the piece, the medium, which is what this painting is made out of, and where this painting is currently located. That is what you are going to have to find that is new. Everything else you should have done on your graphic organizer. On this slide, you are going to give me 5 more elements and principles. You're just going to break them up in a different way, okay? Each one of these boxes should have a different element or principle. It cannot be the same elements and principles you used on this slide. They must be different. You still need to bold them in your sentences though, okay? You can delete the text that I've written here and put your own text in these boxes. You're then going to repeat that entire process for row and leaves. So delete this text, find 5 elements and principles from your graphic organizer, put them on this slide, make sure that they make sense, okay? Give me paragraphs, make sure that they're sentences, look at that feedback I gave you on turnitin.com, make sure that they are bolded in those sentences. Then you're also going to need to find the date created, the size, the medium, and where this is currently located. Then you'll take 5 more elements and principles. You'll place them in these boxes, just like you did for Flaming June. Again, make sure that they're bolded, make sure that they're different than the elements and principles discussed on this slide. On this slide, what you are going to do is you are going to compare these two pieces of artwork. You are going to need to find 4 similarities between these two pieces. They need to be elements and principles. You cannot say both of these pieces are paintings. That's not an element or principle. You can't say both of these pieces are about people on boats. That is not an element or principle. You are only allowed to discuss line, shape, form, value, color, space, texture, balance, contrast, emphasis, movement, repetition and rhythm, and unity. So you have to have 4. You'll notice that there are 4 boxes here, 1 in each box. Okay? Make sure those elements and principles are bolded. Make sure that we are still using the title of the piece and the artist name in our sentences. That is required. Make sure that when we're writing these, you're not saying the first thing I noticed, the first thing I saw. Remember, we do not use personal pronouns, I, you, and we in formal analysis. On this slide, we are contrasting our formal qualities. So again, we're still only looking at the elements and principles, but we are looking at the contrast. So make sure that you are finding 4 things that are different between these two. Again, it cannot be subject matter or materials. You can't say one is a painting while the other is a photograph. One is of leaves and the other is a person. Those are not formal qualities. Those are not elements. They are not principles. Make sure that, again, that you are not using the I, you, or we statements. This is going to be new. You're going to have to base it on what you know about these two pieces and your analysis. So this slide and this slide is new analysis. Shouldn't take you forever. We're looking for 4, and they need to be quality sentences. You can't just say, they use different colors. Great. Be specific. Remember, you should imagine that you are explaining these to a person who has never seen this work before. Highly detailed. Look at those descriptive words that are on the graphic organizers if you need help to compose your sentences for this section. The last slide is your works cited slide. You're going to have 4. You need 2 for Flaming June and 2 for Rowan Leaves. You have to use MLA citation. I've given you a link here. You can click on that. That'll take you to a citation machine. Citation machines will also be posted on your Google Classroom as well as the class website. It is important that you remember that citations must be in alphabetical order. That is part of MLA citation. It does not matter if it goes Rowan Leaves, Flaming June, Rowan Leaves. That is fine. If those things fall in alphabetical order when you are putting your citations together, that is a good thing. That is totally fine. Do not separate them out. Don't say works cited for Rowan Leaves, works cited for Flaming June. I've given you an example. These are 2 pieces that students have formally done analysis on for me. And you can see the first one is The Raft of the Medusa by Cecile Marette. And then we've got something from the Isabella Stewart Gardening Museum, and then something by McCoy. So it goes Raft of the Medusa, Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee, and then back to Raft of the Medusa. Alphabetical order by those citations. If you have any questions, please remember to ask me in class or send me an email, and I can answer them for you.